What does it really mean to have enough? So many of us are chasing a number, right? A number we think is going to solve everything. But what if it doesn't? So, today we're going to explore that exact question through the incredible story of entrepreneur Andrew Wilkinson. This is a guy who became a billionaire only to find out it wasn't the answer he was looking for at all.
This legendary exchange between Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller it gets right to the heart of the whole thing. How do you know when you've won the game? When is it time to just stop? This is the question that would end up defining Andrew Wilkinson's life. But man, he would have to learn the answer the hard way. Okay, imagine this. You're 35 years old, you pull out your phone, and you see a Google alert with your name right next to the word billionaire. For Andrew, this moment wasn't some pure celebration. He said he felt both nauseous and euphoric at the same time. It made him feel exposed, kind of like a target. So this is the peak of his financial mountain, but it's also where our real story begins. The quest to figure out why the view from the top felt so terrifying. To even begin to understand that feeling, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Because for Wilkinson, this was never just about getting rich. No, this was a quest for security, one that was born from the anxieties of his childhood and this constant nagging stress about money. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's so stark. On one side, you've got Wilkinson's world. His parents are fighting about money, he's wearing clothes from the bargain bin, his bank account is literally dipping into 3 digits. And then on the other side, his friends are living in what feels like a different universe. Their pantries are stocked like a supermarket, they've got heated pools, cleaning ladies, and the casual luxury of just having Doritos around. So you see, this wasn't just a financial gap, it was a deep psychological one. And right there, that became his core motivation. This wasn't about greed. It was about escaping that awful feeling of being a pauper. His mission, in his own words, was just to fit in. He wanted to build a life so secure, so stable, that he'd never have to hear his parents fighting about money ever again. And that feeling, it became the rocket fuel for everything that happened next. So, fueled by that mission, Wilkinson's early career became a masterclass in hustle and, frankly, audacity. He didn't have a traditional path, so he built his own, a lot of times with nothing more than sheer confidence and a really good story. And his journey was a total roller coaster. As a teenager, he was this scrappy tech reviewer who somehow hustled his way into a meeting with Steve Jobs himself. But then, just a few years later, he's a broke barista, mopping floors and wondering what on earth to do with his life. He founds his design agency MetaLab in 2006, but by 2008, he's on the verge of losing absolutely everything. So, how did he start MetaLab with literally no money and no team? Well, it was pure smoke and mirrors. He built this super professional-looking website, used photos of his programmer friends to create a fake team, and basically acted like he was running this massive agency. It was the ultimate fake-it-till-you-make-it playbook. He knew you couldn't fake a bakery, but on the internet? Yeah, he could fake a design firm just long enough to land real clients and hustle to make it all legitimate.
But just as things were starting to get real, the 2008 financial crisis hit. You know that Warren Buffett saying, you don't know who's swimming naked until the tide goes out? Well, for Wilkinson, the tide went out, and it went out fast. His monthly contracts? Gone. Clients just stopped calling. One even threatened to sue him. The dream was turning into a total nightmare. He was right on the verge of bankruptcy, saved by two completely unexpected lifelines. So what saved him? First, a gift of Apple stock from his great uncle that had grown to about 20 grand. And second, and this one is kind of bizarre, a steady contract with a laser hair removal clinic in Arizona. So while all his cool tech clients disappeared, the super unglamorous work of photoshopping ingrown hairs was literally what paid the bills. The lesson from all this was burned into his mind. You can fake perception, but you cannot fake the cash in your bank account. Okay, so after surviving the crash, Wilkinson and MetaLab came roaring back, even stronger than before. And this next chapter, it's all about finally hitting that number, that initial goal he'd set for himself all those years ago. This was the moment he could finally look in the mirror and say, I made it. The company's huge, game-changing break came from a fellow Canadian entrepreneur, Stuart Butterfield. He hired MetaLab to design this simple little team chat app he was thinking of calling Slack. Now, while Wilkinson didn't get a piece of Slack's massive success, that one project put MetaLab on the map as a world-class design firm. Suddenly, everyone wanted a sprinkle of that Slack magic. And then, at age 28, it happened.
After selling another one of his companies, he walked up to an ATM just to see the number. He printed the receipt, and there it was, in black and white. Over $3 million. This was it. This was the number that was supposed to solve everything. The end of the quest, or so he thought. Okay, so this is where the story gets really fascinating. He had the money, he had the security he'd craved his whole life, but instead of feeling free, he felt this totally new kind of pressure. The money that he thought would be the ultimate solution, it started to feel more like a burden. So what did he do? He started spending a lot. He actually called it his money bonfire. He bought the $180,000 Porsche he dreamed about as a kid. He flew his friends around on private jets. He ordered the best of everything at every restaurant. But after that initial thrill wore off, he was just left with this hollow, empty feeling. The bonfire gave off some warmth for sure, but it didn't provide any lasting light. Even worse, the money started to poison his relationships. If he paid for dinner, he felt like his friends thought he was showing off. But if he didn't pay, he worried they thought he was being cheap. He started hearing those little passive-aggressive digs. You know the one, must be nice. And he realized his success had put up a wall between him and the very people he cared about. So why did he keep chasing more? Well, he later learned about this fascinating concept called mimetic desire. The basic idea is that we don't just want things in a vacuum. We learn to want what other people want. He saw other successful entrepreneurs collecting fancy watches, going to exclusive conferences, and buying bigger boats, and he just unconsciously started wanting those things too, not because he genuinely desired them, but because that's what he thought the winners were supposed to do. And that brings us to the final act of his journey. After realizing he was trapped in a game he didn't even want to play anymore, he knew he had to make a radical change. He needed a way to escape the gravitational pull of more. The real catalyst came from his friend, the entrepreneur Derek Sivers, who gave him this powerful metaphor. To truly commit to a new mission, you have to burn the boats. You have to leave yourself no option for retreat. Sivers actually compared his own escape from the business world to an addict getting clean. He said he had to remove all the drugs from his house. For Wilkinson, the drug was the endless pursuit of wealth and status. So, what did burning the boats actually look like for him? Well, first, he signed the Giving Pledge, publicly committing to give the majority of his massive fortune away. Second, he gave tens of millions of dollars directly to his earliest employees, the people who helped him build everything, as a way of saying thank you. And finally, he started the really hard work of redefining what enough actually meant for him and his family. And this, right here, is the core of his epiphany. After chasing yachts and jets and Porsches, he finally realized that the ultimate luxury, it wasn't a thing at all. It was time. It was freedom. It was the ability to wake up on a Tuesday, look at his calendar, cancel all his meetings, and just spend the day with his kids, simply because he felt like it. Now, that was a form of wealth that money couldn't buy directly, but it could enable, if you used it the right way. And that brings us right back to where we started. After his long, complicated, incredible journey, Andrew Wilkinson finally understood what Joseph Heller meant all those years ago. He had found his enough. And it wasn't a number on an ATM receipt. It was a feeling of contentment and, most importantly, control over his own life. You know, Wilkinson's story really forces us all to look in the mirror. We're all chasing something, but are we chasing the right things? He had to become a billionaire just to realize what truly mattered. His journey is this powerful reminder that the goal isn't just to win the game, it's knowing when to stop playing. So the real question is, what's your definition of enough?